If you're watching this, you probably already know that YouTube has been heavily pushing shorts to the market. They're everywhere. Right now, the algorithm for shorts is optimized to get you views quick, and with the recent launch of the Shorts ad revenue sharing program, there's really no better time to have some skin in the game. It gets better. You actually don't even need to create your own content to get millions of views. And today, I'm going to share with you an actionable, step-by-step plan you can use to recycle content that is already viral. With my experience in Fortune 500 brand marketing, I'll go through my research process, editing theory, optimization tactics, and then we'll sit back, analyze the video we created together, and go through some pretty insane numbers. Alright, the first thing I want to do is lay out an actionable game plan. Step 1 is market research. We're going to spend 30 minutes to 1 hour in a self-induced internet wormhole to figure out what content is popular right now. And from that research, we're going to come up with 3 different video ideas to get the juices flowing. After that, we're going to spend a little bit of time sourcing the original content we want to use. Then we'll throw it into a blender with some of our own secret sauce so that it complies with YouTube's guidelines for original content. This will help us get monetized later. And do some light keyword research to optimize our video in Google and YouTube searches. Then we'll monetize with the help of YouTube's new Shorts partner program and affiliate marketing. Then just rinse and repeat. Let's get started with step 1 and figure out what people are watching today. I spent a little bit of time scrolling through Shorts and found that interviews with really influential people were getting millions of hits. I came across this page called Peaky that has 107,000 subscribers and 224 million views. I mean, this guy's literally just taking a viral interview that took someone else days to produce, cut it up to make it a little bit more original, and just reposted it.
Get to filming.
Screw it. Let's just do that. Alright, we've got our format. Now let's come up with some topic-specific video ideas. For this, I'm gonna head over to Google Trends to see what people are looking for right now in the way of podcasts. You could also just peruse YouTube. Alright, the first thing I see here is Full Send. I know this is a popular podcast. I also see Nelk is potentially breaking out on search terms, so this might be a good starting point. A very quick search on Google gave me proof of concept. I see a bunch of clips from Full Send getting millions of hits, so let's roll with this. But real quick, I'm just going to scroll through here and see what other podcasts are trending. I see Back to the Beach podcast, Soul Story podcast, Teachers Off Duty, a lot of things that we could use here in the future. But let's stick with Full Send for now. So I'm going to head over to their podcast page and see which interview recently went pretty viral. This Aiden Ross one seems to be doing pretty well. So for our first video, let's try to find an interesting clip from this interview.
But people are so dumb, they actually think that's serious. It's crazy.
Obviously, it's 1.5 hours long, and it wouldn't be efficient at all to listen to the entire thing to find an interesting tidbit. Let's look for a shortcut here. You'll typically find that producers of podcasts will do the dirty work for you and trim up the interesting parts of the interview and upload them separately as snippets. So back to YouTube search here, we're just going to type in Full Send Aiden Ross and see what comes up. And right away, I'm seeing an entire YouTube page dedicated to cut down clips of these interviews on Full Send. So within this YouTube page, we're going to search for Aiden Ross to find our specific interview. And right here, you see 3 6-minute clips of interesting stories told within that hour and a half. Now we don't really have to go hunting through the whole thing. Let's check this one out here. It sounds interesting, and it has the most views that I see on this page so far.
And then we're about to walk outside, and the guy with the backpack is right behind us, and he starts reaching in his bag like this. But Ant and Will already had their guns out. They're already on it.
Cool, I definitely think there's some potential here. The headline is interesting. There's an element of danger here. So yeah, I think this could potentially get some clicks. So the clip is about 3 minutes long, but it really doesn't have to be. We want to trim it down to under a minute. Let's bring it into a video editor and chop it up a little bit. First, we're going to rip the video using Clip Converter. I'll link that in the description. Cool. And at this point, you can use your video editor of choice, but if you don't have Final Cut or Premiere, then a good free web-based video editor like Veed.io or CapCut will work perfectly fine. For this tutorial, I'm going to use Veed. We'll get our clip loaded in here, and what's cool about Veed is that there are pre-made templates here depending on what kind of content you're making. So for our purposes, we'll click YouTube Shorts, and it'll automatically crop our video to the correct size. The first thing you should do is go through and just chop out any useless fluff or air. Any parts of the video that don't directly move the story forward has to go.
Do we have anything in New York? No. Miami. Yeah, we had something happen in Miami. A couple times, actually. So in Miami, I was at a Wingstop.
Here, for example, we don't need any of that in the beginning as he's fumbling through his words, figuring out where to start the story. So let's get rid of all that. So we'll take our cursor over to the beginning, click and drag to the right just to remove all of that.
So in Miami, I was at a Wingstop, and it was in a really bad neighborhood.
Cool, so that's a perfect soundbite right there to get the story started. So I'm going to separate it from the rest of this big clip by hitting the split button here. I'm going to move that off to the side. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the video, separating out certain sound bites that move the story forward and just placing them off to the side. Might look a little tedious, but I promise you with some practice you'll become very efficient at it. I would say this took me 5 minutes to go through and do this whole thing. This is where you're going to be taking a little bit of creative action on your own, which is how you're going to avoid blatantly plagiarizing someone else's work and getting copyright strikes. And you'll also have a better chance of getting monetized by YouTube. Alright, for a first pass, I think this is pretty good. We took this 3-minute clip down and condensed it into about 46 seconds. Let's have a look and see if the story's still being conveyed in an interesting way.
So in Miami, I was at a Wingstop, and it was in a really bad neighborhood. And then a guy walks in who appears to be homeless, but he's not homeless. He has like brand new Jordans on. And he said, "Hey, can I get a water cup?" and walked outside. He's basically scouting, probably like a scout. Then a couple minutes later, a guy came with a backpack who was picking up an order. So we're about to walk outside, and the guy with the backpack is right behind us, and he starts reaching in his bag like this. But Ant and Will already had their guns out. They're already on it. They're on their shit, so they already had their guns out. The guy quickly saw it and just fucking like dipped. Fucking.
The guy's about to rob you?
Yeah, bro. And honestly, he didn't have a mask or anything on. You're not wearing a mask, man. You know they might kill me. You know, like literally in that situation. So there's been other incidents, but I really realized that I needed security at that point.
Cool, I think that totally works, and it's definitely interesting enough